What's going on YouTube? This is DreThePlug coming at you guys with some more technical heat, and in this video I'm just going to describe to you guys what an RGB color light module is. So basically it's the equivalent to like light strips, like when you guys see a bunch of lights flowing in a certain direction and it's kind of like in a strip form. That's what this is, but this actually show you a single one instead of a whole lot of them in a row. And it's good to kind of understand how one works before really trying to test out like hundreds of them that's connected to each other. So just jumping into it, I'm gonna show you guys how to actually pick a color. Actually, if you guys are familiar with the color wheel, that's definitely gonna help you out a lot. Or I'll just go ahead and of course help you guys out with throwing the code into this video and also throwing the color wheel into this video specifically for lights. That's the difference. Different type of color wheels, y'all. The one for light specifically, I'm definitely gonna go over and show you guys how to pick what type of color you want. So what's cool about this, let's say you don't want like 100 different colors, right? Or you don't want a whole light strip and you want one particular color specifically for your project. There's a way that you can pick the exact type of color that you will want specifically. So this little electronic component can allow you to pick the exact color you want for your project. If you just want one single light, or maybe you may want 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but you want to have one particular color, right? This is pretty much what you will end up using. So let's get into the video, let's get into the code, let's get into some more technical heat, man. Okay, so jumping into your RGB light color module, right? So as you guys can see, you have 4 pins. You see your negative sign for your ground, your G sign for your green, R for your red, and then B for your blue. And you see the same exact thing on the back going across. Same exact thing, right? So let's get into the actual construction work. So yeah, this is how everything look when it's constructed as far as the RGB. But let me show you guys the actual construction. As of right now, you guys probably wondering, I mean, yeah, it's just a bunch of different color lights. You can't even really see the individual ones, right? You just see a bunch of different colors. Kind of like a little rainbow in a sense, actually. But now I'm gonna go into actual details to break down everything. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually start unplugging some of them. So right here, as you guys can see, we have 9, 10, and 11. Those are the specific pins that we are using, and of course we're gonna always need a ground to actually make a circuit and make something turn on and off, right? All right, so jumping into this actual RGB color module, let me show you guys what's actually going on. So first, of course, I have to have a ground connected to it, right? So my ground is there, and then I have a power one right here, and it's connected to the blue. As you guys can see, the blue one is actually showing when everything is connected. So then let's say I'll take this one out, right? And then let's say I'll put it into my red one, right? So boom, now I have a red light. If I wanted my project to have a red light, I could just plug it into that one. And then boom, I have a pretty bright red light, right? Then let's say I go back, right? And I want to just plug in this one, and then I have a green light. So now based on those 3 colors, right, now you can see how you can go about combining them to make your own specific color that you will want. So clearly if the green and the blue actually link up with one another, you can end up getting like that turquoise type of light. If you actually get your green and your red, you can get a yellow. Your red and your blue, you can get a pink, and then combining them all, see how you can get another combination of color. You know what I mean? So this really allows you to really pick the specific color that you will want to actually be displayed on your project. So now let's get into some of these combinations. All right, so now I'm gonna just jump into some combinations. See how you get in that, see the color? There you go, you got the combination color. Mixing this one, another combination color. Then let's say I just want to leave it inside of blue. Another combination color. So let's say I want to just leave it in red. Another combination color. So you guys could just keep going across with all these and just keep making different types of combinations and seeing what exactly or what type of color that you actually want your project to have. So many different combinations. All right, so jumping into the code real quick, let's get into it. So jumping into it first, we got int, then we have a redpin. Like I always say, you can go ahead and change this to whatever you want, all of this that's in the black, as long as it stays consistent throughout the whole entire code. But for example, I just put a red pin just so we could just know that this will go into the red one. Could I have made this particular pin, like pin 11, another color, or the port could be another color? Yeah, I could have did that, but I just so happened to just put red pin and then I set it equal to 11 just because. I could have put it in any other pin on the Arduino. I just picked 11. So then I have my semicolon, so my red one's going to be there, so I'll now know. My next one's going to be int bluepin equal to 10, so it's going to be that port 10. So I'll put my pin into that port 10 and it'll give me off some power. Then same thing with my int greenpin, same exact thing, it'll be equal to the 9th port, so it'll give me off power inside that 9th port. All of these are just ports giving off electricity. The ports aren't what's going to actually make that color for the light. It's not going to do that for the RGB. It's just the light, just the electricity that's going to give off. The light and the electricity is what it's going to give off, not necessarily the color. I just will have it coded that way, just so I'll know when I actually put the pins onto the RGB. So then next we have int val, and we're going to want to know our values. Then we have void setup. We want to set up and we want to make sure that power is going to come out of the specific ports directly, so it can go into the light, so it can give off that bright light. Sometimes when people just skip over the pin mode, it could still generate electricity to come out of the board, but if you don't use pin mode, it won't be as bright sometimes, or you won't get enough electricity sometimes, or it could look really dim. But if you put that pin mode for each individual pin that you're talking about from above, you'll actually get that full electric effect that really give you a bright light. And then you want it to output, you want electricity to come out of that port, and you want it to be as bright as possible, because we have our pin mode. Then we have Serial.begin. This is pretty much going to generate in the serial monitor, just let you see and know what's going on. It's not necessarily, you don't really need it for this particular code, but I mean, it's in there if you want to just double check and look up some stuff. So then we have our void loop, right? We talked about this in one of my previous videos, but jumping into it, we're going to have a for loop. And like I said before, you have your parameters, right? It's the parentheses. You have your parameters, and these first two is going to give you a range. So it's going to say if the value is equal to 255, that's going to be the range, all the way up until where the value is greater than 0. So that's going to be the range. And then the fact that you see val minus right here, that's just going to let you know that is basically going to be the increment, and it's going to decrease by 1 every single time. So that lets you know the increment. It's a little bit confusing. The for loop is something, it's one of those actual coding tips that you're just going to have to learn and understand. You're not going to just jump into understanding the for loop completely until you really look at some videos and understand it. But that's pretty much it. Then jumping into the one below it, right? Let's just stick with the 4 lines right now. 4 lines. Then we go to this 4 lines. It's pretty much, you got your value is equal to 0. Then we have, that's our first range. Then our next range is the value is actually less than 255. That's our next range. And then the increments is val plus plus. The fact that it's plus plus, we know it's gonna go up by 1 every single time. We're gonna go up and increase. So then going back to the analogs, right, is letting you know it's gonna be in this particular pin. This is basically the number value that's gonna come out. Same thing right here, analogWrite port 10. This is gonna be the value that's gonna come out. That's how come when you see that it's blinking like a good 3 times, how it's not consistent. Like one kind of blinks a little bit quicker than the other, a little bit quicker than the other, a little bit quicker than the other. It's just to show you guys off the capabilities of the RGB. I mean, if you wanted to, it could just be a basic turn on, turn off if you wanted. But I mean, just for video purposes, I always like to just throw in some new stuff. So that way you guys can really get if you wanted to just add this to your code, the way that it's actually blinking in like different colors, you can do that if you wanted to. Or if you just want to change all of this and just have a specific color, you can do that too. But I'm just giving you guys another option because I'm pretty sure you guys probably don't have this type of code in the mix. So then from there, I'll have my 9 port, and then it'll actually do 128 minus the value. So that'll be a different value for that too. Then you have your delay too. Delay just talks about the times in between things actually happening. Then right here, Same exact thing. The same exact thing is going on how it happened above. No difference. Then you have your delay. Then right here you have to have your serial print value dot des. Don't worry about that. It's just another thing to actually show you the values that's going to come out. And that concludes the code. And that concludes this video. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. It really do help the channel. Definitely go check out my Instagram, DreThePlug123. And then go also check out my other YouTube channel. I'll have it linked down below. This was the channel I started a little while ago. It's basically about barbering and basically giving your own self a fresh cut and looking nice when you step out the house. So definitely check out that channel. I do all types of different haircuts. And be looking forward for the next video that drop. And I'm out.